Think we're going to get started. If you can hear me, maybe you guys can raise your hand in the chat area so that I know folks can hear the audio. Great. I'm seeing some hands. Okay. All right. Well, welcome. We'll get started. My name is Ann LaFave, and I'm the Director of Student Services for the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. And we're super excited to have you join us. Really kind of almost in the middle of August, so it's a few weeks away, and we're getting ready to have you on campus for orientation, working away at that. But tonight we wanted a chance to help you get ready for course enrollment, which is going to be happening in a few days, and we'll go more into the details and the timing. And so I also want to mention that several of our staff are online here tonight in the Zoom meeting to help you with that, so you'll hear from some of them. And they're very versed, and we'll have lots of good tips and tricks to help you guys with that process. If you have questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat area. That's a great way to throw a question out, and there's several of us that will be online. We hope to get to as many of them as we can. This is also being recorded, so you can go back and watch it. And the very most important thing for all of you to do for the webinar is to make sure your microphones are off, whether it's on your computer, make sure they're muted, or on your phone. If you go to the lower left-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see the mute button. Please, please, please be sure to mute that, because with background noise, it's hard to hear who's presenting and what's happening. It's a big distraction. So again, it's in the lower left-hand corner. If you kind of scroll in that area, you're going to see the mute button. So please be sure to do that. And if you're on a phone, please mute your phone so we're not getting the background noise from that either. All right, so that's the most important piece for tonight. Make sure you're on mute and things will go really smooth. Be sure to ask your questions. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Laura, who is our assistant registrar, and she's going to kick things off tonight. Glad you're joining us.
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Laura Milnick-Beam. I'm the Assistant Registrar here in CALS, and I'm really excited to go over a bunch of about our degree progress and expectations, and then walk you through how to create a schedule. And my colleague Shauna Ailing, the registrar, will actually show you how to register for a class in Student Center. But right now, I am just going to jump in and go over the degree requirements with you. So hopefully you can see the CALS degree requirement page on your screen. And we're going to jump right into this PDF right here. And I'm going to walk you through it a little bit. Pretty much the main thing to be aware of is that there are many different levels of requirements at Cornell. You've got the Cornell requirement of 120 academic credits, which is also CALS. You have to do 2 physical education courses and a swim test. And then there are CALS requirements, and that includes 60 credits taken in CALS, and those credits are credits that are taken within a CALS department. So for example, most of your major courses will end up being in a CALS department. You can transfer credit in, and a lot of you are transferring AP credit, which we'll go into in a little bit. The other things that I wanted to talk to you about is talking about letter graded credit and structured credit. Letter graded credit is credit that you have to take as letter graded. There are, out of the 120 credits that you're required to take to graduate, 100 of them have to have a letter grade, which means that there's about 20 credits that you can take as pass-fail. We call that SU, satisfactory, unsatisfactory. And then there's another area that we talk about, structured and unstructured credit, where structured credit is normally a class that you take in with a sitting down lecture, seminar, lab style. And unstructured credit is something like research or independent study, or if you end up being a teaching assistant. So if you have questions about that, please chat us. We're definitely going to go into that a little bit more detail as you go through. A lot of students really start out not doing teaching assistantships or research their freshman first semester, but they'll move into that as they go along in their college career. I also wanted to go over the physical education requirements. So most freshmen are expected to enroll in one PE requirement a semester. So that is pretty awesome and useful. One thing to be aware of is the PE, oh, sorry, the PE and swim test, which is right here on their site. Physical education requirements. So the swim test is really awesome if you actually take it during orientation, which we highly recommend. There is not a fee. So if you need to take it later on, there may be a fee, but if you take it during August orientation period, there's no fee associated with taking the swim test. The other option is if you need to learn how to swim and you don't want to take the swim test when you during orientation, if you take beginning swim, at the end of the first two classes, you can actually fulfill the swim test based on the recommendation of the instructor. So there's lots of ways to complete that degree requirement. Then there are some residency requirements, which basically means that you need to be 8 semesters of full-time study. And then we expect you to be here at Cal's and Cornell your last semester. So just be aware of that. There are exceptions if you wanted to study abroad your last semester, things along that line. Another degree requirement is that you need to keep a GPA of 2.0 or above to graduate from Cal's and Cornell. If you do fall below that while you're here, we're going to reach out and work with you and talk to you about ways to do better academically and how we can support you. I also wanted to go over the schedule requirements. So you have to take, for full-time study, you need to take a minimum of 12 academic credits. Please note, physical education does not count as an academic credit. So if you enroll in 3 or 4 courses and PE puts you at 13, that's great. We also wanted to talk to you about what we call review or supplemental courses, and I'll show you a couple of them on the class roster. But basically, supplemental courses are these courses that you're going to take in conjunction with a harder class. So for example, you're taking a chemistry class and you need a little bit of help while you're doing it. It's a supplemental course. It's there to help you get through, help another extra eye on the courses, extra study time, things along that line. That supplemental course will not count towards your 120. And if you plan on doing that, please talk to us and we'll explain it in very detail. Another really cool thing is most students, minimum is 22 credits. Is 12 credits, but you can go up to a maximum of 22, which we highly do not recommend as a freshman, but you can go up to 22 academic credits in a semester. And if you'd like to go beyond that, you have to meet some criteria that we're not going to go through right now, but normally students will do that in their sophomore or junior or senior year. The big thing that I wanted to talk to you about degree requirements is what we call distribution requirements. And we have a bunch of them, and you may have seen this online already, but basically the distribution requirements are to make sure that we are providing you with an academic experience that's well-rounded, that really gets you and hits all of the unique opportunities that Cal's and Cornell has. So one of the ones that you'll have is physical and life sciences and intro bio, social sciences and humanities, and then a written and oral expression requirement. Now each of those requirements are a little different. So physical and life sciences, you have to take 18 credits total. And out of those 18, 6 have to come from intro, life science, or bio, which you can actually see which courses fulfill that requirement right here. And it's another PDF, and it's explained by different majors. So each major, biological sciences, there's specific courses that fulfill that. If you're a life sciences major, such as animal science or plant science, there's specific courses that fulfill that. And if you are a comm major or one of our non-life science majors, then these courses would fulfill the degree requirement of intro bio as well. So going back to this page, I wanted to talk a little bit about chemistry and physics. So chemistry and physics is a requirement. You have to take 4 credits, 3 credits in either chemistry or physics. Many of your majors will require one of these courses. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a bit. But that's where a lot of the help courses are. And there are some unique courses out there, like the physics of the heavens, if you're not really into the hard sciences that students can take. Then we have what we call quantitative literacy. And that's really another word for our math requirement. So if you're taking in an AP Stats course, for most of your majors, not all majors will take AP Stats or AP Calculus, then this will fulfill your degree requirement. However, many students continue with their math and their statistics while they're here, and they go into higher level quantitative literacy courses. And then there's a bunch of other physical life sciences courses to fill out that 18 credits. So you could take, there's a dinosaur course out there for 1 credit. There's lots of other really interesting courses that would fulfill the rest of the physical and life sciences requirement. So you're basically doing 6 credits of intro bio, 3 credits of chemistry or physics, so you're at 9 credits. Then 3 or 4 credits of quantitative, so then you're at 12 credits. And so you'll have about 6 other credits that you'll need to complete the physical and life sciences requirement. Then we have the social sciences and humanities requirements. These are all unique, and there are 7 different categories. There's cultural analysis, foreign language, human diversity, which is a very big one for CALS. You have to complete a human diversity course, and I'll show you where those are and how to look for them to complete your degree. So out of all of these 7 requirements groups, historical analysis, knowledge, cognition, and moral reasoning, and literature and the arts, and then social and behavioral analysis, you need to take 4 courses. One of them must be human diversity, and the other 3 can be in any of these other categories, but you can't do more than 2 in the other categories. So for example, you can do human diversity, 2 social behavioral analysis, and 1 cultural analysis course. But if you did 3 social and behavioral analysis courses and a human diversity course, you would not be fulfilling this requirement. You would still need 1 other course in one of these categories other than social and behavioral analysis. The reason why I picked social and behavioral analysis is because many students take micro and macroeconomics, and those fulfill the social and behavioral analysis courses. So if you take those courses, kind of think about courses that would fulfill one of these other requirements. Then we have what we call our written and oral expression. Now, one caveat about written and oral expression is that some majors require oral expression. So check out your major and see if your major requires an oral class. So CALS requires 9 credits in this area. 6 must be in the written expression area. So we're going to jump into doing your freshman writing seminar shortly, but all freshman writing seminars fulfill this requirement. And then there's a bunch of courses here as well that also fulfill the requirement. Then we have oral expression, which is speaking. So public speaking, oral communication. There's this really awesome course, this one, ILR, is argumentation and debate. So if anyone did Model UN in high school, this would be a really awesome course for them. So out of all of this, 6 must be written expression, and then the other 3 of the 9 credits could be either oral or written, unless your major requires you to have an oral communication and oral expression course. Okay? So the next thing I wanted to jump into for you was the advanced placement credit. So I know many of you are going to be bringing in advanced placement. So this is on our website, and just so you know, this is where you're going to see what of your AP, or if you have IB or the French Baccalaureate, GCA levels, and down here is the International Baccalaureate. This is, you'll see where these courses will come in if we accept them, and what we recommend, and where in the college requirements they fulfill. Okay? So, let's see. The next thing I wanted to jump into was the freshman balloting. So if you go to night.af.cornell.edu and you look for the FWS balloting, you're going to see this site. And the main thing is, this balloting is actually only for freshmen. It's open to sophomores and first semester transfers, but the majority of students are freshmen. So what you're going to do is you're going to click here. It's not going to let me get in there because I am not a student. But you'll be able to view all of the fall 2018 freshman writing seminars, and you'll be able to see them on Tuesday. So, but I should be able to see them here. Oh, no. Okay. Anyhow, so the big thing to know about these is that you'll be able to pick 5 freshman writing seminars. So in the balloting area, you're going to submit your 5 favorite of the courses that you're interested in taking. And what they do on the back end is they will ballot and assign you and enroll you in a class. You won't know on July 9th which freshman writing seminar you'll be in. And if the freshman seminar that you are assigned to ends up conflicting with the class that you chose, then you can work with the Knight Institute to move you into another one, if possible. So this is the main thing to be aware of for the submission details. Make sure that you submit before July 9th, so balloting begins. So on July 9th through the 17th. So make sure you submit during that time frame. And then you'll see on Monday, July 23rd, what freshman writing seminar you got assigned. I'm sorry. Okay, so going in, we talked a little bit about the degree requirements, but I didn't really show you how to see and how to find courses. There's some PDFs, but the really nice thing here is we have the class roster and the CALS distribution requirements. So when I talked a little bit about making sure that you take a diversity course, on this site you can actually go into humanities and social sciences. You can pick diversity, and then you can search, and you can find courses. It's going to take a minute. Find courses that fulfill these requirements as you go through. And see, there we go. Anything in green counts as CALS, which means that they are offered within a CALS department. So, for example, Asian American Studies fulfills the diversity requirement, but it's not offered within the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. It's offered within the Arts College. And you can see the college right there. There's lots of really interesting courses here, and you'll also be able to click and pull up a course description, which hopefully my pop-up blocker allows me to do right now. Taking a minute. Oh, see, options, I apologize. So then it pulls up the course description, which is pretty nice. But if you're interested in making a schedule and creating and looking to see what fulfills everything together, there's something called the class roster, and this is offered by the university. And in the class roster, you can actually browse by subject, by time of day, by academic group, by credits, by the cool thing is down here when you do breadth and distribution, you'll see a lot of these acronyms. So you'll see Bio AG, which means that these courses fulfill the bio requirements for CALS. Bio LS means Bio Life Sciences. So these courses will fulfill the life sciences biology requirement, and NLS is non-life sciences. But the other thing is you can go here and look up diversity, and it will pull up all of the diversity courses that are offered in the fall, and you'll be able to see here if they're open. If they're closed, they'll have a little red area here, and if there's a wait list, you'll see a little blue. But the cool thing here is that you can see the location, the date and time, the professor, and their net ID. You can read the course description, and some courses, hopefully the majority of CALS courses, you can actually, if you've logged in with your net ID and password, you can find the syllabus. So you can actually see what's expected of you throughout the entire semester that you're here for that particular course. Now, you can also, in this area, create a schedule, and it's in this area called Scheduler. So what I'm going to do, now this is the schedule I helped a student make earlier this year, and you can tell it's one of my landscape architecture students. But you can see that we chose a plant bio course, and over here, if you wanted to look at the details of plant bio, you can click on course detail, and it'll come up, and look, it fulfills the distribution requirement. You have the courses of study information and all of the availability and the times and locations. And the cool thing is I can remove plant bio and it's gone, and then I can add another course, and I can look up a different plant bio course, and it conflicts with one of my lectures. So you can go through and pull up as many and create as many different schedulers. So you can add a schedule, and you can start just looking up courses. So I can look up chemistry. You see this academic support course? This is the one I talked to you about earlier about not fulfilling going towards the 120 credits, but it will help you get through Chem 2070. So I did that, and then I'm going to do Chem 2070. So this would be my schedule if I wanted to take chemistry in the fall and I needed that help class. Okay. So I realized that I forgot a couple things when we went over the degree requirements, and I apologize. I'm going to let Shauna Ailing jump in now and show you how to enroll in a class, and then I'm going to steal it back and talk to you about gaining deanswork and other academic honors. Okay? Okay. It may take me a moment, so I apologize.
And I keep getting logged out. So what's this?
Hey everyone. Once Laura unshares her screen, then I can show you mine. Give us a second. Alright, so I hope you can all see screen. Let me know if you can't. Just a quick reminder to mute your microphones because we can hear some background noise. A couple of you we can see on video, so it's nice to see your faces. So hopefully you can see my student center, and if you've all taken a few minutes to log in, this is where you will officially enroll in classes. So it's just studentcenter.cornell.edu. And your screen will look similar to what you see here on mine. There's a lot of links, and when you have classes added to your schedule, you'll see your class list here. And then, let's see, there's some links to financial aid, some contact information. And then on the right-hand side is where you will see if you have any holds. So you'll want to make sure and check your holds. And once you've completed the swim test, you'll see the milestone there completed. And enrollment dates for pre-enroll will be added on Thursday, and you'll get an email from the university. You'll just want to hop in there and make sure that your pre-enrollment is there. If it's not, send us an email and we'll fix it for you. So I just wanted to quickly show you how to add classes to your shopping cart. I can't officially add classes right now because we're not in an enrollment period. So there will be some extra tabs when pre-enroll starts. So you'll see something similar to this at the top, and you'll click add. And you'll go under Fall 18. And there's a couple ways to add classes. You can enter the class number. So like Laura mentioned before, if you go to the class roster, you can see the class number, which is right here. And if you hover over it, it tells you what it is. So if I wanted to enroll in this class, it looks like it's instructor consent. So that means it won't let me enroll in it without either a permission number or a signed add drop form. I'm going to look at a different course, not here. Okay, let's see. Let's look here. So if we choose this course here, we can see that it's green, which means there's spaces, and there's a seminar and a discussion. So it looks like both are required. The typical way that Cornell sets up classes is choosing the subcomponent. So it could be a lab, a discussion, and then it will enroll you into the main component, which would be the lecture or seminar. So what I'm going to do is take this number, 9524, and enter it right here. And that is step one. So that shows that I have chosen that class, and then all I'm going to do is hit next. But you can see that the status shows as green, which means it's open. This blue box means closed, and then the yellow means that that's a waitlist option. So if you hit next, this is a screen where you can choose to change the grading option. So this class is letter or it's SU. So if you were to want to change your grading option, you could do it here. If the class was variable credit, you could also update that here. Another thing to point out is if you have a class that's instructor consent and the instructor gave you a permission number, this is the screen where you would enter it. You can also choose to waitlist if there's a waitlist option. So everything looks good, and I'm just going to hit next. And this class is now in my shopping cart. It's not going to let me to proceed to the next step because it's not an enrollment period. So you'll see this little message up here. But when you're in a pre-enrollment period, you have 3 steps in order to complete enrollment. So it's up to you whether you want to add classes to your shopping cart and then go on to the final steps, or if you want to do them one at a time. Another neat thing you can do is if you go back to your main screen, oops, that's not the screen. You can see your enrollment shopping cart. And if you go here, and I'm back to the same page. So you can add classes here just like Laura showed you in the scheduler. So the scheduler will show you your weekly outline, but this is actually where you will enroll in your classes. So if you have a good idea of the classes you want to enroll in, it might help you on Monday, July 9th, when you log in. If you already have some classes in your shopping cart, because all you have to do then is just click enroll. And you'll want to make sure to select the classes you do want to enroll in. So you can always add classes here and choose not to enroll in them later. Okay, so that is all that I wanted to show you. And I am going to turn it over to, I think, the career team.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lori Gillespie, and I'm a member of the CALS career team. Welcome to you all. I'm also one of the 3 pre-health advisors here in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. So for those of you who are considering either human medicine or veterinary medicine, there are a couple of things we wanted to share with you tonight as you're thinking about enrolling in classes. 2 things to keep in mind as you're preparing this first year. You want to form a strong support network, and I am happy to tell you that there is a large pre-health advising team. There are 3 of us here in CALS, and there are a number of pre-health advisors throughout the university who are going to be able to guide you every step of the way in terms of managing the academic classes you need to prepare yourself for human and/or veterinary medicine. And we also want you to make smart academic choices from this very first semester in terms of the classes you enroll in. My colleague Jen DeRosa is going to put links to a couple of key advising resources for you that are going to outline the actual prerequisite courses that you're going to need to take if you are thinking about keeping your option of medical school or vet school open, and also the order in which you should think about taking those classes. So, sorry, a colleague just poked her head in my office for a moment. A couple of things. Some of you are inquiring about whether or not you can take classes pass, fail, or SU. For any of you who are contemplating the possibility of medical school or vet school, you do not want to take any of your prerequisite core of classes that are going to be required for medical school and vet school, pass, fail, or SU, the satisfactory, unsatisfactory. That is not, you're just simply not permitted to do that for any of those prerequisite classes. So something to keep in mind. The guides that Jen is going to post the link for, and we've already posted the link actually in the pre-health chatter group. On pages 2 and 3, you'll see the core classes that most colleges of human medicine and veterinary medicine are going to require that students take. You'll also see the order in which we recommend taking those classes. For students who are thinking that they're interested in matriculating in medical school or vet school immediately upon graduating from undergrad, it's really important that the biology, chemistry, and mathematics be started by the sophomore year if you're planning to apply immediately upon graduating. There can be some flexibility for students who are thinking about taking 1 or 2 gap years. And not that you have to know all of this right now, but we're just pointing out a couple of things that students often ask us. We also, another piece that is important for you, as Shauna and Laura were talking tonight with you, there are basically 3 sets of requirements that you want to be managing at any point if you're considering human medicine and veterinary medicine. You're going to stay very closely connected with your faculty advisor and academic department on fulfilling whatever courses are required for your major. So that's one set of requirements. You have the entire team here in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences Student Services Office to help you navigate the college's distribution requirements, but you also need to be sure that you're fulfilling the prerequisite courses required for medical school and vet school. And the good news is that many times a single course can fulfill 1, 2, or 3 of those requirements. So we'll help you navigate that. I think Jen has put those links in the chat area. So are there questions that we can answer for you? Feel free to put those in the chat area if there's something that we can help you with. pretty straightforward, it looks like. Perhaps there aren't a lot of questions about that. I think I might open it up more broadly if there are questions for any of the members of the Cal Student Services team. We're here to help you gain confidence with your pre-enrollment process. So let us know how we might help you.
Hi all, so that was a lot of information. This is Anne again. So we have a few more minutes. Feel free to unmute and ask a question if that would be helpful, but definitely feel free to keep sending your questions in. I'm also going to remind folks that we have the opportunity for you to get a lot of your questions answered in chatter. And a lot of the questions I'm seeing popping up have been answered in there, and we certainly can continue to answer questions there. So do make sure you're in there because a lot of the important information about orientation will also be in there. But it's a great place to ask questions. And I do see several of them being asked tonight have been in the chatter feed. So definitely encourage you to check that out.
Thanks, Anne. This is Lori again. I just wanted to give a shout out for the pre-health and pre-vet chatter group for the exact same reason. That'll give you a place where just students with those interests can post questions, and there's a lot of great information in those two chatter groups already. So feel free to join those groups.
Great. I see there's a question about minoring. And when do you declare it? What's the purpose or what's the process of that like? And that is certainly an opportunity for you as a student at Cornell. Many of the departments across the university offer minors for students to take a minor. And many times students find that just because of their areas of interest, they end up fulfilling sometimes more than one minor, depending on what courses they're taking. The way that process works is you would want to definitely go to the website for the minor you're interested in learning more about, learn what those courses are that you would have to have, typically 4 to 5 courses. They usually have some like a form or a guide so you know what those courses are, and then you just work on taking those courses, and if they're completed by the time you graduate, then you would receive an official minor upon graduation, and again, sometimes more than one. Some minors have more requirements for the process than others, so again, the best resource is the website to figure that out. Sometimes we get asked if you can double major. You can within CALS, but you can't across the university. So again, that's would have to be a very careful plan because that does not give you a ton of flexibility to do other things at Cornell if you're really focused on a double major. Just something to think about. That's a lot of times why minors become so popular. It looks like there's a question here, Lori. Are pre-health advisors assigned before getting to campus?
Oh,
How would you answer that?
yeah, great. I know that Jen is actually popping a reply in the chat group too, but I'm happy to say that pre-health advisors are not assigned to students. You have, for Cal students, you have Jen DeRosa, Steve Sham, and myself, Lori Gillespie, all at your disposal. We'll hold pre-health walk-in hours 4 days a week here in our office that we'll begin to put that information in the chatter group as it gets closer to your time on campus. There are pre-health advisors in the central office who will be available also by appointment or walk-in. And don't forget that many faculty advisors in various departments are very knowledgeable about and have guided many students who are interested in human medicine and animal medicine. But you are not specifically assigned to a pre-health advisor.
Great. Thanks, Lori.
Hi, this is Tori. I saw a question in there about can you change majors in CALS? And at this point, you would need to stick with the major that you're assigned, which is great because you will have a team that will help advise you. You can let them know at that time that your interests are changing, and they'll have suggestions for what you do to go about that course enrollment. I think your interests should change a lot. I mean, you're going through a lot of changes. Cornell has over 3,000 classes. Who knows where it's going to take you? So if you're thinking another major, try out a course in that and see if you like it first. You don't want to just switch directly into a major and not like that one and then start major hopping. So, at the end of next semester, as you're starting to formulate those plans and you start talking to departments, that's when you go about that change towards switching towards another major, if that's what you decide to do.
Yeah, and I would just say that those of us on the career team are always eager to meet with students who are contemplating changing their major. We can help you think through if there are some career-related ideas that you have at this time. We'll help you think about might there be undergraduate majors that can help position you in a more compelling way for those opportunities, or combination of major and minor. So think about connecting with us here on the career team as well.
It looks like there's a lot of questions about what if I don't get the classes I need during pre-enrollment, what happens then? And I would just remind folks that when you get to campus during orientation, you're going to have time to meet with your major and typically your faculty advisor. And again, every major runs things differently, but you will be connected with someone in your major so you can really solidify and confirm the schedule that you want to have for the fall. And right after you get there and have those meetings, there's a period in time when the enrollment opens up again, so you can make changes to your schedule even before classes begin. And many times students are still doing that once classes begin. You have a small window to make some changes. So don't get too nervous about it. There's a lot of fluctuation in courses being dropped and becoming available. I don't think any of us have met a student yet that didn't have a full schedule for the fall, and we'll make sure that you're on your way with the help of the major, the folks in your major, and in our office, we can make sure you get the courses to get you moving. You may not always get what you want, but you may get that course eventually when you have more time or it becomes more available later on at your time at Cornell.
I'm also going to give you one tip when you come to campus and you have your class all put together and scheduled. On that day before classes start, go do a walkthrough of your classes. You might find that you're walking about 2 miles every day. Don't want to scare you. The buses are great, but kind of keep that in mind. I think you have about 15 minutes, give or take, to maneuver through classes, but that's one tip that I heard from previous students is that it helped them out a lot to really figure out where they're going across campus when those classes start up.
Hey everyone, this is Shauna. I just wanted to send a quick reminder that pre-enrollment will open on July 9th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you're at your computers and you're ready with your schedule. Like I said before, you can put together your schedule ahead of time by looking at the class roster, talking with your department coordinator. You can always ask questions on Chatter. And I just wanted to let you know that we'll put all the links that we shared in the chat messages up in the Chatter group so that you can refer back to them later.
Great. So thanks, Shauna and Tori and Jen and Laura and Lori. Thanks everybody for helping out tonight. And with that, we're probably going to wrap up the chat and the Zoom meeting for tonight. But like we said, there's all kinds of resources. Please be in touch. We're so happy to help answer your questions. We hope some of them got answered tonight. We know you probably have a lot more, but one of the best resources is Chatter. We're really, that's where you're going to find a lot of this information that's being asked about tonight. And we're in there too and can continue to answer your questions as we get closer to pre-enrollment and beyond when you're getting ready to get here in August. So we're going to wrap up. Everyone stay cool. I'm assuming if you're almost anywhere in the US right now, you're probably very hot, and the weather has been scorching here in Ithaca. And so have a great night. Thanks for logging in, and let us know if you have questions. Thanks, everyone.